Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with...
Dave and me. John?
Dave?
That's right. Okay, we're both right. Okay, good. Yeah. So listen, we're officially in November.
Is it that time already?
Which means what, John?
Yep. December's next month.
No, but it's at what? Yes. Okay. So yes, that would be right. But also, it's time to wildly overreact about football.
Okay, so I was thinking Thanksgiving. Let's go with football.
Okay, great. I want to say thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped. Everyone loves turkey and stuffing, but you'll be looking like dessert.
Hey-o, come on.
With the help of Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0.
Look, you think your holiday spread is good? Well, inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer.
What else?
Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, which is awesome.
Yep.
The Crop Preserver deodorant, I use it every day.
Yep.
Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs so you can perform, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies.
John, can I ask you a question? Did you know that the lawnmower is not actually for your lawn, although it does have a 4,000 LED spotlight? Can you 4,000?
I could do my lawn with that.
No. Listen. What is that? The power went out? No problem. I'll be over here trimming away, unbothered by the darkness, John. It's not going to shut down my party.
Well, it also has the Weed Whacker, Dave, which in a story that we broke exclusively on Dadville is not for trimming weeds around your house. Okay? Again, it can be done, but we're not endorsing it.
We're not going to say it.
And I can tell from here, Dave, that your ear and nose hair is non-existent.
Yeah.
It's gone. Yeah. Well done, my friend.
I whistle when I run now. True. It's just you hear the air's just going right through there. Let's not forget Manscaped liquid formulations, okay? The Crop Preserver deodorant and Crop Reviver toner spray are like pumpkin pie and ice cream after Thanksgiving dinner. You can't live without it.
You can't.
Okay, that's a 1-2
I'm sold.
punch.
Next time you see me, I'll be like a sleek whisper in the night, Dave. Where can our listeners go to get the Performance Package 4.0?
Can I? I'm glad you asked. I was just going to tell you, but
please,
you're asking me. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DADVILLE at manscaped.com, John.
Listen, everybody, be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code DADVILLE. And talent now.
You know, John, Bill Withers would be so proud of us right now.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I can think of a ton of reasons, but what are you thinking of?
Because it's just the two of us. And I think, you know.
How did I not see that?
Wow.
Man,
I'm
welcome to Dadville.
Welcome to Dadville, folks. So this is another one of these episodes. John and I have been having a blast. A blast. Doing these, a McFlurry for those who want to go to a different restaurant.
Sure.
For that.
Yeah.
Doing these.
I'm with you.
You are.
I just don't know what's happening.
A blast is a DQ thing.
Oh, okay.
See, there it is.
Wait, a blast? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, blast, right? Oh, that's Sonic Blast. Sonic.
Yeah.
Dairy has the
Blizzard.
Dairy Queen has the Blizzard. And then McFlurry is McDonald's.
Yeah.
Guys, thank y'all for listening.
Let's start over, but we're not going to start recording over. But that wasn't the beginning. This is the beginning.
So we gave y'all some pre-roll.
You can't get mad at us for anything that's happened because we hadn't started yet.
This is like back when you had CDs and they hit a song really late in the CD. We just did it backwards. We had the hidden material at the very beginning so you could get. So what these are?
Just the two of us.
John, just tell them about what we're doing again.
So we call them monthly thoughts, and I have an app, a notes app, where I just, as I'm walking through life, I'm like, that's kind of an interesting thought, and I'll jot it down for our monthly thoughts. So I have tons on here, most of which
braggy.
Well, keep listening. Most of them are terrible. And
one just says dandelions ?
Yeah. Well, what's funny is I get ideas for these a lot of times while I'm running. And so I do the voice thing And so one of them is, I'll read this to you verbatim. The guy who passed me running on with his birthday. What story do I have to tell myself? And so I'm like, okay, the guy who passed me running on his birthday. Obviously, I didn't mean to say on his birthday.
There's a lot of things in that are already so fascinating. The guy that passed me running.
I'm like, I know, I remember the moment that I'm referencing. It's happened twice, but we've already kind of talked about it. I think on the first one that we did, where we talked about somebody passed me running, and they just...
It was his birthday.
He was in his birthday suit.
You only run that... Oh, wow.
I was in my birthday suit.
Oh, wow.
No, and I think the thought on that one was, I have to be... Like, what happens in that moment for you? Like, and does it change over time?
Yeah, right.
Like when I was 18, is it like, no, I gotta keep up. Now I'm 39, almost 40. Probably by the time this comes out, I'll be 40.
Happy birthday.
I'm like, thank you. I'm like, I don't feel the need to try to keep up.
Right.
Or maybe more accurately is, I'm not gonna. Yeah. There's no way. I just started my run. I can't run that fast.
Yeah.
Unless I'm gonna be done in about a minute.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So what I think the thought here was, what story do I now have to tell because you have to do something
to tell yourself. Oh,
you have to be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then fill in the blank.
And then,
when I'm 18, I'm like,
needs my energy when I get home.
Exactly. See, that's a story.
Yeah.
When I'm 18, I'm like, it's okay. He's on the track team and you're on the swim team. This is training for a different sport.
Let's take this to the pool. Let's take it to the water.
He can't hear me because he's already a mile ahead of me. But it's like you have to tell yourself something in order to keep going with your.
And look, we solved it.
I actually wasn't going to talk about this one because I have the ones that I think are worthwhile talking about bolded, and the ones that are not bolded. This is another one, but it reminded me of it when I was running the other day. I passed. You know how like where Dave and I live, we have this street called Belmont, and it curves around by Belmont University, and there's a store. It's the Belmont University merchandise store, where the angle of like the windows on that store are tilted, so like for about 2 seconds, you're seeing yourself. Like you don't have to turn to look at your reflection. It's like you're
just looking right at.
You're seeing yourself, and I saw myself running the other day, and I was like, A, that's not what I thought I looked like. B, I was like, I look like somebody who everything that's happening fashion-wise is for function, and it's not at all. Like anyone seeing me running would be like, oh, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's like, that hat doesn't look good on him. He must know that.
Yeah.
But he's wearing that hat.
Yeah.
And so that the sun does not like burn his nose, like nothing that I'm doing right now looks good.
That's a man who's given up, is what they're thinking.
I've given up on the vanity of it, but I'm still out here.
You're still running, so you're not.
So it's
then it's confusing.
It's very confusing because it's like I haven't given up. Look at me, I'm running.
Yeah.
But I've given up on anything else beyond that.
I feel that. I do not like seeing myself run. I think watching myself eat and run, those are just and boy, when I do them both, my God, what a terrible.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do a different route so I don't have to look at myself.
My posture immediately gets better.
Yeah, it's hard. It would be fun to like sit on a park bench across from that and watch people when they get to that.
So you get a real straight shot at it.
And see them as they're coming and they're running a certain way, and then when they hit those 2 seconds where they're going to see each other, they like start running a little bit faster. And a little. That's
like kids.
Upright.
Our kids are doing. The boys are doing cross country, and I've laughed with every parent because they've done a couple meets now.
Uh-huh.
They're like coming around the corner and they're so tired, and then they see their parents, and it is suddenly chariots. If I do, they just start running. Your face is going to a grimace. They're running as like you. I mean, it is comical.
Yeah, man, cross country. Oh, that's a rough sport.
Hard pass.
That is a rough
hardest of
sport.
hard passes for me.
Yeah, but that was the first school sport that I did. I think was cross country, 7th grade. Anyway, we haven't even started yet. Here's the real start.
Starting now.
Here we go. Let me throw in one more side note because prepping for this, I was listening to our last couple episodes because I wanted to make sure I'm not repeating any questions, and I was listening to it at 2 times the speed.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to point out 2 things. One, it was amazing. I just thought, isn't it incredible how the human brain can learn a language so well that I can understand what is being said right now, especially, and this is my second thought, especially when you're talking.
Oh my gosh.
When I hit 2 times per speed when I'm talking, it sounds like a normal human who's had half his coffee. When it gets to you,
Alvin and the Chipmunks has done a bump in the bathroom. That's what it sounds like.
A human-sized bump for a little chipmunk. Anyway, all right. Let's start off. Here we go. What do you think is the most useless talent you have? Obviously, you have a talent. You have an occupation where you have capitalized on a talent that God has given you. That obviously can't be your answer. What is the thing that you think that you are talented at that is the most useless thing in your life?
Oh, John, I'm really do you have an answer for that yet?
No, and I will say I spend all my time trying to just come up with the thoughts, and then I don't have answers for any of these. So there's going to be lots of gapes and time.
Gosh, I really have to think about this.
When I was a kid, like if I had been doing this podcast right now when I was like 9 years old, I can tell you what it was.
What?
It was vacuuming the stairs.
Oh, wow, you were good at it.
I thought that was part of my chores, and we had this little like handheld vacuum thing that we would do just for the stairs. And I used to do this like pattern on the stairs. I really took pride in it. I did this little pattern thing that would like make these little like sort of like rainbow looking things, you know?
Oh yeah.
And as I was doing it, like every time I'd be like, man, I'm really good at this. Like this is, like a lot of kids, they come in here with the vacuum and they would think they're doing a good job. But here's the thing,
that's not true because it's too helpful. You're disqualified. I mean, if you're really answering your question, you're actually doing something that's helpful.
But I'm going above and beyond, and I'm crossing a line where it's not helpful anymore. You've reached the threshold of helpfulness. Yeah. We need the stairs to be clean. Now you've gone. You're expending a lot of energy beyond this line. That's useless.
Okay,
energy.
This is. I really need to think about this because that is such a great question. I think I've talked about it even on one of these monthly episodes before, but I have a really weird ability to tell when you're outside. Stay with me. When you're outside, where artificial light. What is artificial light and what is real light? What is sunlight? So that has to win. What I mean.
You could have given me the rest of the year to try to think of a more useless talent, and I could not.
You will never find it.
What's the scenario where that could even be useful?
I can't think of one. Somebody's like, "Oh my God, is that the sun?" And I'm like, "It's actually not the sun. It's the sun shining off a building coming back toward us." But like, it is. I have a gift for this. Like, I can be. It happens all the time in New York. Like, I'll be walking and I will notice like that's not direct sunlight, and I'll go, "Where's it coming
because
from?"
of like the building.
Yeah, and then I'll find, it's coming off the. But I'm very attuned to this, like spiritually giftedly, attuned to this. Like I'm always. So that's. I mean, what a great question. I really.
It's funny that you say that because a couple days ago, Amy and I went and got coffee after we dropped the girls off at school. We went downtown to Crema and got coffee. And as we were driving back, there's a high-rise building that's under construction, and it was a cloudy day, but there was like sunlight reflecting off the top of this building, and I'm like, where is that light coming from? And I don't think it was sunlight. I think it was actually like lights that they're installing on the top of this building. But yeah, it was a scenario where
I could have told you.
You would have seen that 10 minutes before I saw it.
I just would have known. I think I've talked about this too, so forgive me, everybody that's listening. At this point, I'm amazed anybody's even listening anymore. So, Mom.
Our moms are like, it's okay, guys.
Go. As they're watching TV on mute. But I think I extraed on a movie called The Last Castle, and that's sort of where I got fascinated by this because it was so much artificial lighting, and it's something I've always been very aware of lights. I don't have a like people hear me saying like, oh, like are you weird when you go to restaurants? I don't care about the lights. Like it doesn't.
Oh, you don't?
No. I have no opinion of how bright or not, but I'm very attuned to just like that's not a normal looking light, or why is that light like that, and so because I think when I was on The Last Castle when we were doing it, there was just so much artificial lighting that my brain was always going like, why does it? Oh, it's that. Okay, he's holding it, like he's holding the silver thing and he's reflecting it, or
bounce.
Yeah, the bounce, or then they'd have like huge fake lights that were supposed to look like, and it was just like my brain couldn't. Yeah, it was like, no, that's not right.
You know what's funny is lighting. Like if we're talking about a restaurant, and you're like, hey, we got 2 options for tonight. We're going to dinner. This one place, the food is amazing. Fluorescent lighting. Option B, the food's pretty good. The lighting is amazing. Yeah, I'm going with option B every time.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just
lighting in a restaurant is almost number one.
I feel that. I don't. The older I get, this is really sad. But the older I get, I don't like dimly lit restaurants, and I don't like loud restaurants. And that's just welcome to being.
Why don't you like dimly lit restaurants?
I just don't feel like I can. And I got LASIK 10 years ago, so it's not about what I can see. It's just I don't know. I just don't. I feel I'm kind of like what? I just feel like I'm at half.
It takes all your talents down. Yeah. If you can't see very well. And you can't think very well. You can't speak very well.
I'm like a muted version. This like like all of my good friends realize that, and all you want to do is take me to like half lit restaurants.
Hey, just bump the lighting up a little bit.
Is Dave a little too much? Just turn up. Watch this. Okay. I'm just like doing like a weird like half sleep awake thing. Which, by the way, random fact: did you know that if you can get a shark and flip it over, it goes into that state? Like
I did know that.
State.
I did know that. Yeah. There we go.
Okay. I digress. Yeah. It's really getting the shark. That's really your first problem. It's just that little moment. Right. There it is.
Yeah. If you could just flip it onto its back. The next time you're in the ocean staring down a great white, remember this. If you could just flip that 1,500-pound great white on its back. Okay.
You're going to be fine. A lot of risk, but high reward.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another one that I don't have an answer for, but I think this is a really interesting question. I'm going to give you, I have written down one thing, but I'm going to say 2. What do you think are the 2 questions that you could ask somebody? I should have prepped how I actually asked this question. What are the 2 things, I'll say, that if you know these 2 things about someone, it tells you the most about them? Ooh. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What do you think the 2 sort of like metrics are? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gosh, John. I mean, honestly, this is terrible, and people who are big proponents of this personality system will hate this answer.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah. So I think 1 is just the Enneagram number. It's like if you know, set, and that gets a little typey and stereotypy, and that's not what I mean. But it is insanely helpful, and I feel like honestly, sometimes that's kind of the only thing, and then I have enough of a grid to kind of go, okay, cool, yeah, I sort of, I know then, sort of.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually didn't think about the Enneagram. I kind of.
What do you have to?
No, and again, I spent all my time just writing these questions down. I don't have answers. But I thought this is what I like about this question, and this says something about my personality, which you know this about me. I'm like, ooh, I like that question because there's probably not an answer to that. Like, this is probably something that you could just kind of like turn the gym for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like, I thought like, what makes you?
I'm sorry, we have to pause. Turn the gym. Help me there.
Turn the gym. It's I got that reference from, I think it's an ancient Jewish reference to spirituality and the scriptures.
Could you spell gym for me real quick?
Jim.
Because it could be a lot of things. GYM, right. Which gets really interesting.
Which one is the most confusing? No, it's GYM. G-E-M, like turn the
I
gem.
saw your face. But literally, if you hadn't said that, I promise you, I would have maybe, it was equal. It was a 50-50 on GYM or GEM.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it a sports reference? Like, we got to get it ready for the next sport. So it's about really getting everything ready.
It's like a multi-purpose rim. You just had a
Guys,
banquet.
we got to turn a gym. We got the fourth graders coming in 2 minutes. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's like turning the gem. It's like a thing that you're
all
like,
the facets.
all the facets
I get it.
It's like, I think it's a early, like ancient Jewish reference to figuring, trying to relate.
A lot of gyms in Israel.
Yeah, Jimmy is an ancient first century Jewish name. It was hugely popular.
There was Jesus, Nathaniel.
Jimmysus.
Jimmysus. Oh my God. That sounds like a Greek fighting mountain.
And Jamesis.
They will arrive on Jamesis and fight to the death.
No, but I thought,
gosh, that got me.
Oh yeah, so that's kind of why I like this question. I think it's something, if you know what really makes someone angry, I think that's very telling
John,
about someone.
I wasn't even thinking of that sort of angle.
And when I thought about that, I thought, well, why not? That leans dark, but I think what we get really, our anger tells us what we love, what we really care about. So it's sort of a way of finding out two things in one. You know what I mean?
Well, do you know the things that make you really angry? Like, do you have it down to like, there's like, if a couple of these things happen, it's like I need to go outside.
No, I've never thought about it. Honestly, that's a good question.
Okay, you want to hear how weird this cues up? This is the truth. I want you to hear what I'm about to tell you. I had a dream about this last night.
Really?
Because one of my biggest triggers, and if people listening, I'm like showing you the hole in the armor here, because I have to really, I get really riled up about this. If I feel like someone is shaming me, it is, every therapist listening to this, like, just give me 5 minutes, David. We can get to exactly what that is, and I can help you with this.
Right.
But I not a lot of, in fact, it's something I'm really proud of myself for, candidly. Like, I don't feel like a lot of things get me really riled up in the world, like out there, not in my house. Now, my kids Annie knows, there's things she can say and the kids can do, and I'm upset, But like out in the world, I really do feel like I'm a pretty even-tempered, logical guy.
Yeah.
Because when things that could anger me, I really try to go, okay, first, empathy. Why did they do that? Is there some,
Which is easier to do the further out you get from
That's exactly right. So
like if you're 3 layers out, it's like, well, you can't
which
really
is a great
hurt me.
qualifier. And I mean, so you're right. That needs to be
have
said.
less to lose with this relationship.
So and I say it's a great qualifier because I'm not bragging about myself, because it's not like, I think that's, most of us are pretty couth.
Yeah.
We're like not walking through the world with like machetes trying to take anybody out who's making us angry. Sorry for that imagery. But it's weird. Like, I have such a consistency around, like, when people kind of, especially people I don't know in like a business, in a consumer setting. Mm-hmm. So if I'm ordering food at a restaurant, or I'm trying on I'm asking for another side. Like, if people give me any sense, it's crazy how quickly I get mad.
Yeah.
But and then I just go right back. It's so embarrassing. I go with the exact same energy back at them.
Yeah.
But it is the one thing in my life that I have to really grab before it gets.
Yeah.
Like if I'm ordering, it's very triggering. Thank you. But like if I'm ordering and food and I just wanted to, like you, I'm trying to be a pretty kind person. Mm-hmm. Hey, and then a couple and they wanted a couple milkshakes and a small. Dude, we don't have smalls. I'm like, it's like I'm like, don't Hulk, or if do y'all have a large? I don't know, man. I'm like, oh God, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I had a dream. I would say I had a dream where I was hired to do a show last night. This is a dream, and I didn't know that it was being filmed. Stay with me. This is a dream. Remember.
Okay.
And I got there, and I hadn't showered, so I had like my hair kind of was like back and messy, and had like, I had like jeans and shoes and a shirt on or something. But the guy who's shooting the video. I mean, this dream felt like it lasted 4 hours because the rest of the dream I kept justifying. I ran the problem in my head over during the dream. Guy comes over, the director, and he's really upset. He's like, man, what? We're shooting the video. Like we specifically said, like, we need you to dress up and look nice. Now we got to move the shoot to tomorrow. And I remember in the dream, it triggered me in the dream. And I was like, what? And I was in the dream, I'm like, my brain was trying to figure out. It felt like a 5-hour dream because I just remember like walking around this space.
So do you remember in the dream, did you know, were you like, well, you didn't tell me. No one told me it was filmed.
And I was like.
That's the reason.
Yeah, I was like, well, he's like, well, bro, like now we got to get all these people. And it was just like, I got so like riled up. Yeah. But it's this thing. It's like, to your point, like what makes you angry. I've figured that out about myself because I'd watch myself and I'd get so riled up. And I finally figured out it's like when somebody really comes hot at me with shame or is trying to shame me about something in me just gets really, really out of place.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Dave, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please do.
This last tour was great. And when you're on the road, do you have any daily rituals?
Yeah, this is easy. I do a full headstand, sometimes a handstand while listening to the B-side of Abbey Road. And then I eat 2 quick bananas, pop, quick 5K. And then I try to convince my kids that Star Wars is the only true trilogy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, when I was on the road, I kicked each day off with AG1 from Athletic Greens.
Yes. See, I'm going to cut out the 5K and maybe just up my AG1 intake.
And you'll have the same results. Yeah, I started taking AG1 because I wanted a quick way to get my guts in shape, Dave. Yeah. I talk about this all the time. Get your guts in shape. Yeah. It doesn't even taste like health food. I know. For those listening, I'm making air quotes with my hand with health food.
Yes, okay. Exactly, right. The special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things, John. All the things, yes.
And it costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit.
That stings, coming from an elite coffee influencer like yourself, John.
Well, it hurts. Listen, right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season as we are right now. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. It's delicious. Yeah. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Gosh, 5 different places or the same place 5 times. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/dadville.
Again, that's athleticgreens.com/dadville to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp.
John.
Dave.
I misplaced the user manual for my kids. They're not doing quite what I was hoping. Could I borrow yours for a while? Do you have one? Okay.
I mean, I've been on tour lately, so I actually don't need it much. Here you go.
Okay, great. Oh, no, see, this is a gluten-free cookbook.
Oh, sorry. Wrong one.
So, here you go. We jest, John. We jest. But don't you wish it was that easy?
Yes, I do.
Because unfortunately, life does not come with a user manual, and that's where BetterHelp comes in.
That's right. Navigating life's challenges can make you feel unsure, even as award-winning hosts of critically acclaimed podcasts like about dad stuff.
Who? I wonder who you're talking about. The therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn skills that will help you be more productive.
I cannot say enough about getting help and getting therapy. Yeah. I've been going to therapy for the last 6 years, and it has made a huge impact on my life.
It is. It is a game changer, as I would say.
It's changed the game.
It is. Yeah. It is
as the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable.
Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler.
No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist.
Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/dadville.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/dadville. It's interesting that that's the thing, that it doesn't matter if it's Annie or some person you don't even know.
It's pretty universal, yeah.
I think as you're talking, I need more time to figure this out. But I do think this is not going to affect me if I don't know the person, but when people really close to me, when I feel like they don't understand what I was trying to say at that dinner party the other night or something like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But I don't know if that makes me, I don't know if it's anger. Like it triggers, sometimes it might make me angry, but it will definitely be something that I will think about
a lot
forever.
Yeah.
Like there's some really good friends of ours that we had a conversation one time sitting around like a campfire. This is probably a year or two ago. And I know I'm going to have to bring that back up at some point with them because it's not like I think about it every day, but I think about it regularly enough that I'm like, I know I wasn't understood in what I was trying to say.
See what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
So they think this.
Yeah, but it's not.
And if it were someone that I didn't really know that well, like I think I could let it go. Like, well, whatever,
Yeah.
But these people are really close to us, and I'm like, I want them to know, like, no, this is what I was trying to say, But again, I don't know. Like with Amy and I think the times that I get really worked up is when I don't feel like she understands.
Yeah, I get that.
Which that's probably, I don't know. As I'm saying that, I'm like, that's probably every marriage.
It's
probably half.
No, that doesn't trigger the same things in me. I get annoyed or something, but I'm not like mad.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of these things, it's funny because I think Amy could answer these quicker than I could about me. So,
I get that.
But I don't know what the other one is. Like what makes you angry? And then the other thing, I think I would go with like, what makes this person angry? And then what was what are the top 3 things that you did most frequently in the last month? If I know those 2 things, maybe I know enough about them. But the Enneagram is a good point.
The other one I would add is like, tell me about your parents.
Yeah. If I could spend some time with their dad or know what that dynamic was like a little bit.
That's usually a good.
Yeah. I have this could be a whole other podcast, obviously, but the Enneagram, I think probably everybody everyone who knows what the Enneagram is they have to have some kind of an opinion on it. You know what I mean? Like I have an interesting relationship with the Enneagram because I think it's fascinating, and I really think it's fascinating. It just so happens to not have had like a transformative effect on Amy and my relationship, but I know I could name 10 people, friends of mine, who it did for their marriage.
Yeah.
I think it has been insightful for some other relationships, like friendships and things like that. But sometimes I reach points with the Enneagram in conversations where I feel like sometimes it can work against itself, where it feels like such a shorthand for people.
Oh, it is.
It's
very dangerous that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about fighting, Dave.
Fighting me?
Well, I don't know. Just fighting in general.
Okay.
I don't want to limit it.
Let's talk about fighting.
How often do you currently and just over the course of your entire life, how often are you thinking about getting in a physical altercation with someone?
Okay. I think about this when I see a really humongous man.
Mm-hmm.
When I see there's a guy, one of my best buds who's been on the podcast, Isaac Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
He's
6'4",
I think.
6'4".
He's 6'4".
Well, he looks 6'6".
His brother, who is I want this to be documented. His brother, Isaiah, is probably the most fit, large human being that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's 6'6", and when I say he's ripped, it's not like he's in good shape. It's like he is muscled out. He's just a monstrous guy. He's just massive. When I see guys that size, I go, there was a time in the world where I would stand on one side of a battlefield with like my sword, and then he would be on the other side staring at me.
Right.
And it was like,
you would have a little slingshot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this going to go?
Right.
I mean, there's no way I'm taking that guy down.
Right.
But like I will. That is one. Like if I see football players out and about, you're like that guy. I'm just like, I couldn't last 20 seconds with this guy.
Yeah.
He's just too big.
Yeah.
That's when I'll think about it then. And then every now and then, like very intermittently, if we get into a situation where I just feel like, and I'm not one that thinks about this kind of stuff much, like safety. That's just not sort of a concern of mine a lot. But we're in a city or it's dark and we're walking back to the hotel late, you know, where I'll kind of be like, okay, I need to sort of like, what's that guy? What's he doing? Where's he going? Why is he looking at us? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I get a little like, okay, am I ready to?
Yeah.
I got some.
Yeah, I think I think I'm 5'8" or something like that. I don't know. My license says 5'9", I think. But I'm like, I don't. When's the last time I measured myself? I don't know. I don't actually know how tall I am. I think for a couple years I thought I was 5'10", and I said it one time at a small group like 10 years ago, and one of the guys was like, "On stilts, you're 5'10". I was like, "Oh, I mean, I don't know. When's the last time how tall do you, I don't know. Okay, let's say
every now
I'm
and then
5'8".
at a gas station entrance, I'll kind of okay.
Oh, I do that too. Yeah. But it's like that margin of error is like 3-4 inches.
Yeah, and then it's like 2 inches off the floor that it starts. Right. Like, okay, everybody, let's calm down.
All their suspects are a little bit shorter. But I'm a pretty small guy, and I know that they say like the average height for a guy is like 5'8" or 5'9".
Oh wow!
But I'm like, I don't think so. Not in my,
Have they said where and what time of the world?
This article was from 450 years ago.
In Greece.
In Greece, it was the Greek Post that I was reading. I need to cancel the subscription, but.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's so fascinating.
So much still about Pompeii, boy. They just would not let that go.
It's a fountain of articles. But I'm as someone who is a smaller person, I'm pretty aware. That's probably why I'm kind of aware of it. Because, like when I was in 7th grade and 9th grade, like those are the 2 years. Because of the way school was laid out, like you went kindergarten through 6th grade, then you went to middle school or junior high, which was 7th and 8th. So that was 7th grade was a huge sizing everybody up.
Yeah.
And then 9th grade was the next one where like I'm coming in, I've got braces and like training wheels, and I didn't even ride my bike. I just have them on the first day of school, and I'm going to school with like guys who look like they're about to retire.
Just enormous.
They're just massive, and they have beards. It's like, so I've always been really aware of that because I'm smaller.
Yeah.
But I will say I've never been in a physical fight in my life where I actually was fighting somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in physical fights where we both are voluntarily like boxing or we're wrestling or we're, One time, my friend Luke and I at a Young Life camp, we fake fought as part of like a skit for that month, and we said on the last one we're gonna really go. We're actually swinging. We're going for
that.
That
is amazing.
Other than that, I've never actually been in a fight.
Yeah,
but I'm always like, I'm always kind of on guard a little bit, and it's going down for sure in my life. But I'm always so curious, like when Amy, we've talked about it, and she's like, I've never thought about getting in a fight.
Yeah.
That's not something I think about. And there's like the side of me that's like at night when you hear a sound or something that to me, I'm like, that's probably never going to go away. Cause that's just like, people do break into houses.
Yeah.
I do have a little bat next to it's go time if that happens.
Yeah.
But if I go out to like a soccer game or out, I would think about it.
Yeah.
And I have friends of mine who are large, muscular, 6'4", like, 260-pound dudes who you wouldn't want to mess with. And I find that it's consistent that they're like, no, I don't really think about it.
Well, of course I've never been in a fight about it.
Yeah, I'm like, you live in a different world, man.
It's like rich people, like, do you ever worry about money? They're like, no.
Yeah.
I just got money.
Right.
I got a lot of money. I don't have to worry about it.
Anyway.
Like tall, ripped guys are like, do you think I worry about getting in fights?
But I don't know, because I wouldn't be surprised if some of them would be like, yeah, like people mess with me all the time because I'm the big guy.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah.
Like Isaiah, I wonder what he would say. I wonder if he would be like, yeah, whenever I go out to a Titans game or something, like every now and then guys will just kind of, I can see them eyeing me.
Yeah, they get lippy because they're drunk or something.
And they feel threatened because you're so big.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, I'm just big, man.
Two of the fascinating things about this space. One, I heard there's a guy named Tito Ortiz who's an old UFC fighter. He's like kind of one of the OGs, the first guys that was like really big, and that when it kind of went from like weird and all these like they would be fights of these small little jiu-jitsu guys, these Gracies. There is a family named Gracie, and they're kind of like the legends in the jiu-jitsu world. And they would fight these monstrous guys in the first UFCs where it was like literally there was no weight classes. It was like get in there and just beat the crap out of each other, basically. And those guys would win a lot of times because they knew what they were doing. And so these big guys, yeah, because they'd come in, they get tired within a minute, and then those guys would get on the floor and they were done because they put them in some hold or lock or something. But anyway, Tito was one of the first guys, and he was on, I think, Letterman or something. And Letterman asked me, he's like, to your point, what you just said. He's like, so do guys just always want to fight you? He's like, man, it doesn't happen much, but yeah, I'll be at a bar and some guy will be drunk and he'll walk over and he'll be like, oh, you think you're better than me because you're Tito Ortiz? He's like, I can fill in the blank, kick your, and he said, so what do you tell him? And he's like, well, I always tell him the same thing. And he's like, I'm always very calm. And I say, hey, man, tell me what you do for a living. And the guy's like, I'm a lawyer. He's like, great. He's like, great. So, like, how much you work a week?
I was just like, I'm a lawyer at Rooks and Brooks and Savings.com.
At notfighting.org. But he says
at bookworm.neverbeeninafight.org.
That's right. And so he says, I go, next question is like, well, how many hours a week you work or something? He said something like that. And the guy's like, 60. He's like, that's great. He's like, do you know what I do for a living? The guy's like, what? He's like, I fight for a living. He's like, you know how many hours a week I fight? About the same as you work. He said, so if you want to do this, we can do it. Like, I will fight you. And then he said 0 times has a guy ever been like.
I mean, yeah.
Isn't that a great argument? The other thing I was going to say is it was a really fascinating video I saw of this guy, to your exact point. There's a guy that was a UFC guy, and there was footage of this event where he had been somewhere, and these guys were like picking on this woman like outside of a club. There's footage of it from like the street video that you can watch. It's really fascinating. And the guy kind of steps in. He's a UFC professional fighter, and he's kind of a bigger guy. And he's like, "Hey, stop!" Like the woman kind of, and he's like, "Everybody stop!" And the guys are drunk, and they're like, "Oh, you think you're something?" And he says, "Listen to me. Like, I do this for a living, and I don't want to do this, but I will do it if you start to tag me." And sure enough, man, this one guy swings at him. He knocks him out. One of the 3. Another guy comes. He submits the guy pretty much immediately. And then the third guy just walks off. They eventually go get up and walk off. But
the third guy's like, man, I'm so glad I waited my turn.
But I mean, to your point, you do kind of wonder if those guys see people like that and they're like, oh, then I really want to try this. Because if I can beat you. And they're just really misunderstanding.
Like when I was in elementary school, I remember they would pass out like every Friday, like first Friday of the month or whatever, they would always pass out these like fluorescent pamphlets for karate lessons.
Oh, yeah.
And I would take them home every time, and I always wanted to take karate because I wanted to be, I wanted to like know that I could defend myself, be tough, you know. And my parents never once let me. They're like, there's no way you're doing it. I think they were afraid I would break all my fingers.
Yeah.
And
then,
my one talent I wouldn't be able to do. But I think about every now and then, I'm like, man, should I take some self-defense classes or something like that? Because like you're saying earlier, like there was a time a couple years ago when Amy and I were in New York and we were walking to our hotel or something, and we went down like one street that wasn't like an alley, but it was like, all right, this little block looks a little sketchy, And so I'll think about it, but I'm like, again, I'm almost 40. And this is a problem that has never happened. It has never come up in my life.
Yeah.
That I got into a fight. What are the odds?
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before, but I took a form of karate for like a year when I was in high school before we moved to Nashville or to Knoxville, and like we every part of this is hysterical, but we the guy was a nurse who was the black belt, and he was amazing. He really knew what he was doing. So he just asked the hospital, like, "Hey, will you just give us an empty room?" And so we'd always train in this empty hospital room, which in retrospect, I'm like, that should have been enough of a warning. Like if you're training in a hospital.
But also, like if you're going to do that, do it in a hospital.
So, but we would spar without pads. And so he'd make us spar. And I mean, there were some big dudes in this class. And, I was ninth grade or whatever I was. And it was really interesting because, I mean, some of these guys, like, whooped me. I mean, they one guy dropped me. Like, he kicked me right in the solar plexus, and I couldn't breathe for, like, 10 seconds.
Oh.
But there's something weird. My dad actually said this about that season of life. He's like, something changed in you. It's like, in a good way. It's like, you get hit a couple times really hard, or you sort of see, like, oh, I can still get up. And you just get a little more comfortable with that. So, like, oh, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world to get hit. I mean, it sucks, but
right.
And I do think it helped. To your point, I do think just being, because I mean, we were sparring no pads, and it was like a bunch of high school guys that were like, and then a couple of adults, and it was like you get popped or you'd pop somebody, never in the face, but kicking somebody in the chest or and it didn't feel good, but you did sort of go, okay, this is how this goes.
The fear of that is worse than that.
There you go. That's exactly what.
Yeah. Okay. That segues perfectly to my next question. It's not even a question. It's just kind of an observation that I think about every now and then. And I think about it most often when, like, Amy and I are out in the morning getting coffee with the girls, and we go to, like, a coffee shop, and they're like, I want a cookie. And they've got this, like, line of chocolate chip cookies. Mm-hmm. And we're like, sweetie, it's $8.15. You can't have a cookie.
I thought you were about to say it's $8 for a cookie.
Well, same. Yeah. But we're like, verbatim, we're like, sweetie, you can't have a cookie. Choose between these iced muffins or, like
donuts.
Or donuts. Exactly. Like donuts with icing on them. Like it's a birthday cake. But we would never give our daughters a slice of cake.
In the morning.
That's insane. But you can have this donut that's cream filled with sprinkles, and that's what is the deal there?
How did we get?
How did we get here?
I blame it on the Danish.
Okay,
I think they
I'm listening.
As a people group, as a culture, I think they somehow got us believing like, no, these versions of sweets totally okay. They start the day a different way than these versions of sweets.
Yeah.
And these are bad.
Those are bad. That's fine once the clock gets to here. Then that's okay.
That's what I was going to say. What is the time that is okay to eat something that sweet? And not to mention all of the, I mean, like Cinnamon Toast Crunch and what's the color? Fruit Loops and Frosted Flakes. Like, it's just as much sugar.
Exactly.
And those are like, no, kid, go. Don't put that donut down. Eat your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You're like, what?
I mean, the number of times that we have said a sentence like that, like, you can't have your cookie until you finish your pizza. And I'm always like, just nutritionally, what does that hold up?
Hold on, honey. Let Daddy have just a quick thought here.
And I'm always like, is this about the food? It's definitely not about the nutrition.
Yeah.
Is this just about like a power structure?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the authority. And this is a whole other question, but like, how many times have you, as a parent, said something that you immediately am like, oh, I want to go back on that, but now I've said it.
Yeah, I got to hold to it.
And I got to hold to it. If I can't, that happens all the time in our house.
Yeah, I wonder too if it's just like what makes me laugh about it too is that you're trying to establish to your child sort of how nutrition works, but while you're doing it, you're absolutely undoing it. So you're like, hey, we're not going to eat donuts right now because you haven't finished your pizza, and you're thinking, see, I'm helping you understand good nutritional choices, and then you realize like, actually though, because what you're doing is you're going, hey, no, see. this, and then maybe later we can do that.
Yeah.
But then you're like,
and they're like, why?
But-
I'm like, stop asking questions and eat your pizza.
We'll never understand the Trinity, and we'll never understand this. So just do that. let's
And how many other areas of life are like this, where it's like, well, no, you do. I mean, I always think about like an alien coming to Earth, and you're kind of showing them around.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, well, you do this, and then we do this, and they're like, that doesn't actually make sense. I mean, it's fine, but
I'm not sure guys need to wear shirts. That's one of the things that I think aliens have a right to ask. Like, well, why would men wear shirts in the summer? I think.
I mean, you can keep taking that back all the way to the garden.
But
I would keep following that down.
I would have a genuine art. I'd be like, look, Nebog, the alien.
Yeah.
Real talk, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe we wipe our sweat on it. But I don't know why we do. I mean, it's a little easier just to not have a shirt in the summer.
But you get sunburnt. I mean, look.
Okay, so sure. Okay, quote unquote, you get sunburnt. But I'm just saying that's one of the. I'm just saying I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
I'm floating that out there. Wow. Exactly the same time.
We are so in sync, which I'm actually surprised because I've been away.
I know. You've been on tour. Yeah.
I've been on tour.
Yeah.
And it's been great because I've got a ton of reading
done.
done.
Look at you.
Well, it's easy to get that done on the PJ, you know.
PJ? Pajamas?
Yeah. No. That's what we call the new Dadville private jet that we picked up.
Oh.
I cannot recommend it enough.
You know what? That's where it was. I drove around Nashville trying to find it last weekend, and I have to say the PJ Life looks good on you, Johnny. I'm glad you had it.
In between various drinks with umbrellas, you know, I really got into some new titles from Wolfbane Books.
Yes, they are some of the most beautifully illustrated books I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
The illustrations were done by Aidan Peterson, who is son of Dadville guest extraordinaire.
That's right,
Andrew Peterson. And Stephen Krotz. And I know you're a visual learner, John.
Well, you are correct.
Yeah.
And I love how they're using the power of story to form the hearts and minds of kids.
Like The Forgotten King, which is a rhyming picture book parable that is such a timeless story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to highlight their most ambitious project yet, the Story of God series. It follows God's relentless pursuit to be with his people from creation all the way to new creation.
That must be so enjoyable to read while you're cruising at 30,000 feet.
You literally have no idea.
Yeah.
Each book allows me to trek through the whole story of the Bible in one setting an important theme.
Head over to wolfbanebooks.com between now and Christmas and use the code DADVILLE for 20% off.
That's 20% off before Christmas when you head to wolfbanebooks.com.
Okay, John, knock knock. Who's there? Dave.
John.
Yeah, okay, we'll do it better next
time.
On that. John, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What are you waiting for?
What am I waiting for?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You can't say a girl like you.
I could take that a couple ways.
Okay.
I could take it that way. I could be waiting on the world to change.
Okay.
Waiting on a friend.
Okay.
Waiting for tonight.
Ooh.
But actually, I'm right here waiting.
Okay. See, this is why we're friends. This is why we're friends. Okay. But get this: the wait is over, as season 3 of The Chosen is right around the corner.
Yes. Oh, I love that show.
Me too.
The theme of season 3 is "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest," which I believe is Barnes 24/7. Or Matthew 11:28.
I see what you did there. Common mistake. This season, our most consequential and emotional chapter yet picks up right where season 2 left off, but turns up the heat.
You saying the honeymoon is over?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus delivers the most famous sermon in history, Dave.
That's right.
And what follows are the consequences of living out his teachings.
You bet it is. But in the midst of upheaval, Jesus gives rest.
Episode 1 and 2 will begin in theaters starting November 18th, and episodes will start releasing for free in the Chosen app before Christmas.
For more information, visit thechosentickets.com.
Let's talk quirks,
Okay.
Dave. We were starting to talk about this, I think, before we started recording. There are things that I think everyone on this earth has little quirks.
Okay, this is one of my favorite topics of discussion in any scenario with people.
Okay, great.
I want to know this.
Yeah, because everyone has weird little things that we do. I think multiple things.
Well, somebody
that probably will never tell. Like, you might be married for 60 years and your spouse might never know that you have some weird little quirks that you do.
You may have another family in another state. Is that a quirk?
He's
Is that
quirky.
What you meant?
Hey, he's quirky. It's just one of my quirks.
Is quirky, okay? He's a quirky alien. So I really think this deserves. I'm going to push now. I'm not going to say we're going to do it, but I want us to actually do an episode on this. And what I want us to do is have people send in their quirks.
Yes,
and help me here, because we need to sort of specify what this means. We don't mean like
if you have another family in another town. We don't want.
Please don't tell us
you
that.
need to tell somebody.
Tell somebody.
Yeah.
Just not us. Okay. So I don't mean quirks like I don't like my, ketchup to touch my mustard on the plate. Like, sure, that's a quirk. But that's what I want to hear is like.
We want weirder.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so okay, I'll register a couple really quickly. One of my best friends, McKittrick Simmons, who lives down in Atlanta, Kitchy Poo, as we call him. Anytime he drinks water, like a Aquafina, Dasani, Kirkland, whatever, he immediately takes the wrapping off, like the plastic. What am I trying to say?
Before he even takes a sip.
Like it's like they have offended him. That's how he handles it. Like, so the Dasani wrapper, boom, it's off immediately. He's drinking. And I remember I saw this a couple times and I was like, can you tell me about that? And I don't remember what he said, but I think it was something in the realm of like, I just don't like it. There was no. He's not like, I hate Coca-Cola. He's from Atlanta. He has to like. They paid for half the city, so it's like, but just those kind of things. Yeah. Like, do you have some quirks? What are your quirks?
Yeah, but I'm still thinking about his quirk here.
Isn't that weird?
Because I'm thinking, does he not like the way that the plastic rubs against the bottle? But then you take it off, and then you're gonna have that one line of like glue.
Yeah,
that's still there,
sticky on your fingers.
But maybe he's like, no, you just avoid that.
Well, then that's a whole other.
I don't know.
Here we go. Here we go.
Also, what does he do about Fiji? You can't take the Fiji thing off.
Maybe
he does.
He puts his hand over it. He refuses to see it.
So I have one that this could be one that I could have not even thought about because I've been doing it for so long and I don't know why I started doing it, and I just do it without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But if I'm riding in a car and I'm not driving.
I forgot about this one.
I will, as we're passing houses, I will click the side of my teeth that the driveway is on in the house. Like
that is the epicenter of a quirk. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, okay, I need to understand this better. So if you're riding shotgun with me, I'm driving.
Yeah.
You're looking at the right side of whatever street we're on.
Uh-huh.
And every time you pass driveway, you click your right teeth.
If that driveway goes to the right side of the house, I'll click the right side of my teeth. If it goes to the left, I'll click the left. And what's even more puzzling is that I do it all the time, but I don't have to do it. It's not like if I don't do it, I feel like if I miss three houses, I have to get them.
Yeah.
So that's even more puzzling because it's not like, it doesn't feel like it's kind of connected to some kind of control thing. I can do it or not do it, but I just do it, and I don't know why. And I don't know that I've ever told anybody that I do it.
How did you know that you did it?
I don't know. I mean, I've done it so long that I don't remember when I started doing it.
I'm curious. What did you notice? Did somebody say, like, what are you doing? And you're like, oh, I guess I'm doing this thing. You just knew you did.
Because I'm not, like, really chomping down. You wouldn't be able to see that I'm doing it. I don't know. I remember on the school bus, that might be when I started doing it, just like riding in a school bus, looking out the window and just clicking the side of my teeth.
My best friend Shane growing up could say any word backwards.
Oh, wow. Like, see, that is like, I don't know what the use is there, but there's got to be some kind of thing.
The FBI would love him. I don't know why. I don't even know why they use him, but they're like, we're recruiting that guy.
But I would show up to the FBI and they'd be like, okay, and what's your thing? Okay, so if I'm right, I can't be driving, so someone has to drive me, but I I have the ability to click my teeth, and you can be going pretty fast, and I can still keep up with it. And they're like, okay, we'll be in touch.
What about the guy behind you? I can say anything backwards. Yeah, bring him in.
Bring him in.
Yeah, bring Shane in. The only thing that, like, off the top of my head that I'm thinking about is when I'm on the phone, talking on the phone, I have to walk in patterns.
I've definitely noticed this about you, that I haven't noticed that there's a pattern you walk, but I know you definitely walk around.
And what I'll do is they're all diametrical. They're all geometrical. That's what I'm trying to say. Did I make up a word? Diametrical?
No, diametric.
Diabolical?
No, diametric is a word.
Is it?
Diametrically opposed. That's a phrase that people say.
There you go.
Oh, this gets me to my next one, but
okay.
Keep going.
So they're all what am I trying to say? Now I'm going geological. They are geological because I'm walking on the ground. Geometrical.
Yeah, now we're theological.
And they're all about God.
There's a theological connection, and it's dependent upon the theology of the person that you're talking to on the phone.
That's one of my 2 questions. Tell me about your theology. They're all geometrical. So I will see the ground and walk in ways that are either usually triangles. So I'll walk, and if there's
these are hard turns you're doing.
Well, I'll step my foot. You can watch. I'll move my feet in ways that don't interrupt the triangle.
Yeah.
Or if there are cracks on the ground, like if it's like a sidewalk where there's seams in the pavement. Like then I'm rocking because I know exactly how the thing is laid out.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of walk according to how it's really bizarre.
So as you're talking on the phone, can you, as you're walking and you're sort of like picking out your shape, are you seeing like a bird's eye view of the shape?
No, that's a great question. I'm not. Ooh, another quirk of mine. Because I'm so fascinated by accents, if you have an accent, it doesn't matter. That can be American, like you're from the South or you're from the Northeast or whatever. England or an Italian who speaks English and you have an accent.
Yeah.
If you say something when I'm around you and it fascinates me, I'll say it exactly like you just said it out loud. And I cannot help it.
Huh.
It is really bizarre and wildly unhelpful to getting friends.
And could be seen as mockery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When we went to England the first time, we went to Lehman's and Annie and I. Annie would pinch me under the table because a waitress would walk over, wait a minute, what would it like, would you like a hamburger? And I'd go, hamburger? And they'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, what? And so Australian, the Australian accent gets me in a lot of trouble because it's wildly fascinating.
Yeah.
Like how, but I can't help it. It's the way my brain, it's like it like registers it, oh, it's hot.
That's like you putting it in a file.
Yeah, my brain goes, all right, it's in there now.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Yeah.
But it is, I have to really watch myself. Another quirk, how do I know all these?
Keep going.
This one really gets me in trouble in Nashville. When I see friends that I haven't seen in a long time and I know their music, when I see them, a song of theirs will start looping in my brain. So it doesn't happen to you because I see
can't get it out of your head.
And then I'm trying not to sing it when I'm around. This used to happen with me and Emerson Hart all the time from Tonic. Because I grew up listening to Tonic and he's now a really good friend of mine. And I would see him and it'd be like, Sugar Man. And I would be like, Dave, do not sing that out loud.
Yeah.
Because he's walking toward me, Dave. And I'm like, no. And it's weird. And then it'll like, Kevin Griffin, Bed and Ezra, those kind of friends who I don't see a lot. It's really weird.
I guess this is a quirk. There are a couple songs that I sing, like I kind of hum the tune of / get stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Every single day.
No, this is a quirk of
my
yours.
life.
This is a quirk of yours. I will definitely register this as a quirk.
One of them is Don't Get Around Much Anymore.
Yep.
Mr. Saturday.
That's also because it's one of the greatest melodies
of all time. It is one of the greatest songs of all time. Another one that's just real random is Remember the Time, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Remember the time when we spent in and it's always at least with that one, it's only like 4 bars of it.
Make no sense. I mean, it's not like, it'd be one thing if you're like, it's, Don't Get Around Much Anymore and
Take the A Train.
Take the A Train.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Those
right.
two songs have never been on a playlist together, ever.
You remember the time. And
then another one is Alternate Roots. I've been wasting my days.
So, okay, do you sing them enough that they're in the right keys?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not.
Okay.
I don't know, though. I don't know if I even sing them
because it'd be
in
cool,
consistent
because a lot of
keys.
my friends who don't have perfect pitch, but they have relative pitch, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
They'll go, let me think of the song, I know what key it's in, and then they can figure out what key something else is in.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forget about Remember the Time. That is gold. That is so gold.
It's that it always starts out that way. I mean, that's how the song starts out. But
when you've told me this before, I sort of get jealous of it because I'm like, I'll have songs for seasons that loop, but I don't have like one that just sort of is always in my head. Which maybe is good. Maybe you're like, oh, you don't want it. But I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like less of a
I don't mind
musician.
it. Because I genuinely love, I mean, to be honest, like, Remember the Time, I do like that song. But it's not, if you were like, hey, tell me your top 10 Michael Jackson songs, that would not be on there.
Okay, two quick questions. One, you said, do they always start at the same place?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fascinating. One, because they're ascending. No, they're descending, which is really interesting.
Right. Oh, that's true. Well, the Alternate Route song, for the most part, is descending, but it does go up.
It does go up. The other question I was going to ask is, I lost it. I only had one. God, that was...
I lost the thing that you brought it up earlier, a little bit ago, and I was like, that reminds me of my next one.
Diametrically opposed.
Oh, okay. What are some phrases that are used all the time that you don't know what they mean, but they come up in conversation and you just nod along? Because I feel like I have a million of them.
You go first.
Like, and I'm almost like, I don't really want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I've made it this far.
Yeah.
What if I find out and then my life starts falling apart? And it's like, well, that was the thing that was holding everything together. You not knowing the definition of that phrase.
Of those things.
But when people say gaslighting,
I
don't actually know what that means.
I don't know that I do either. Somebody said it the other day, and I asked them. And to be honest and humble. Oh, and I don't remember now. I think it has something to do with calling somebody out. I think, is that right? Oh God!
I mean, I know the context that it always happens in.
Yeah,
where someone, it's like someone is being untrue about something, or they're only pointing out a partial truth to make the case for something else.
Okay,
I don't know. It's used a lot. I feel like I hear that a lot, and I'm always like, I don't know what that means.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but this sort of brings up. Do you have more?
I mean, I got plenty more.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, keep going. I want to hear the others.
I don't want to keep going. I'm embarrassed.
Okay.
No, actually, one that I do feel like I have is maybe off the list now is codependency.
Oh yeah.
That sort of like people would bring that up again. That would be a term that would be thrown around a lot, and I would, until very recently, I think I now kind of know what that means. But
that's slippery though. It's a slippery one because it can kind of mean a few things,
right? But I don't think I had any grip on what it was and now I have somewhat of.
Will you power through those?
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah, somebody says it like, dude, he's gaslighting, and you're like, God, again.
Yeah, well, it's probably his codependency.
It's also
when he gets codependent. His
he gaslights everywhere. He will gaslight everything, body, things, ideals. Okay, so here's a question, and if I've done this, Jason can edit this out.
Okay.
Have we talked about Annie's sayings on this podcast yet?
Oh, I don't know if we've talked about them. If we have, it's been a long, long time ago. So
okay.
You're
so
fine.
Annie, I may not live through the night after she hears that I've done this. This is one of my favorite things.
This is not bad. This is a cute thing.
Well, to us it is, right?
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite things about her, and I've had this note for probably 5 or 6 years. It's a note in my phone. Let me say a couple things so that maybe she may turn.
You're already trying to dig yourself
Yeah,
out.
I haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
Annie is without a doubt one of the wisest, and I'm making I'm differentiating these two things. She's the wisest.
You're making a diametrically gaslit differentiation.
Okay,
that are not codependent.
Yeah, they're geometrical and geological, and you have to
which is
hold
part
that.
of your theology. That's so you.
And scene. She's not just wise, but she's really smart. Like, she's a doctor. She's a pharmacist. She's very, very smart. She's very, very wise.
Right.
This somehow falls in the Grand Canyon between those two things.
Everybody's got a blind spot. Everybody.
Okay, that's the best way. This is her blind spot. So everybody's listening. Annie's weakness, her weakness as a human is she does not understand, nor does she remember colloquialisms.
Mm-hmm.
She cannot get them right. In the 17 or the 18 years together, she has never got these right. I'm not kidding. I don't know that she's gotten it right once in our marriage, where she will actually say, like, well, you know what they say. So that's what I mean. So people are like, what a colloquialism? Anything that follows, well, you know what they say, and then there's a quote. That's usually a
like a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush.
There you go. Okay,
yeah.
I'm just going to read some of the ones. This gives me great joy in life. Okay, this little note. Light as a feather, stiff as a bird. Okay, there's one.
At least it still kind of works.
It does. Look, birds, when dead, when they've been dead for a while, they are stiff.
It's implied the bird's been dead for a while.
She may be saying more than we know she is. Okay, here's another one. That's when the straw broke. And what you have to do is you
have to search for the other one.
Yeah, so it's a straw that broke
the camel's back. With like last straw, maybe?
Yeah, that's the last straw.
Yeah.
So that's okay. That's the game we're gonna play right now. So you have to figure out what she's trying to say.
I like this game.
Babe, you're on top of the ball.
On top of the world / on the ball.
You're actually really good at this. You may be the Annie Chang on this. Okay. The white elephant in the room.
That's a elephant in the room combined with a white elephant gift exchange.
Yes. I can't breathe. Okay. Oh, I'm not going to get through this. They're fishing for straws.
Like fishing for a compliment or grasping at straws.
John, you're so good at this. Okay. She's tough as dirt.
Tough as nails.
I don't know what the dirt is. I think dirt is just kind of like, dirt's like dirt. She gets in there. Oh my gosh!
Maybe that's like she's combining she's tough as nails, and she's like just rub some dirt
on it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That plays for me, golly. Okay, I was so nervous I was red knuckling the steering wheel.
I don't know if that's combining two. That's it's white
just
knuckling.
A color. Yeah, it's a color.
I was so nervous I was
okay
red, like blushing.
Yeah. When the nitty-gritty comes down to it. She literally said that out loud one time.
Well, that one is just like the words are out of place. When it comes down to well, it's like when it comes down to it combined with get down to the nitty-gritty.
See, is, I'm just going to call you over when she says this now. I'll be like, can you translate that? I went down a goat's trail. No wait, a rabbit's trail. That was a real quote she said. So that she fixed herself there. Oh, this is a good one. He needs someone to call his feet to the fire.
Wait. Okay, this may be...
Not hold his feet to the fire.
Hold his feet to the fire.
Call his feet to the fire. Which
is a combination of call his bluff, hold his feet to the fire. There it is.
This should be a game. This should be a thing we just put out, like with a Hasbro or something. Okay. All in all, it was smooth as a cucumber. I don't even know what that
cool as a cucumber.
Smooth. I don't know.
Smooth as a baby's bottom. I don't know.
Okay, two more. He's gonna kill me. He's a sweet guy. He's a sweet guy, but he's been dealt a hard deck of cards. So that's an obvious one. He's been dealt
a bad hand.
Bad hand. And he's been dealt a hard hand, or he's been dealt a hard hand. That's what you say.
Is that
I think that's it. Yeah, dude.
A hard hand.
He's been dealt a hard hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
A hard deck of cards. It's just so wonderful. And here's the last one. It's just a reminder of how sports is a breeding ground for life.
Wait, sports is a breeding ground for life?
Ground for life. I mean,
she lost me on that one.
I think that's why I can't breathe. I don't even really know what the get in on that one is. Sports is a metaphor for life.
Yes.
But I don't know where the breeding ground. It's gotten to where now when she says these, she'll be like, no, please don't. And I'm already, like, she'll see me grab my phone. She's like, God, what did I do wrong? Please, Dave, don't write it. Oh, sweet mercy
That's
of
so
life.
funny. Well, we end on a cliffhanger there. What is that last one? What does it even mean?
Will we ever know? Oh, my gosh. But just to really bring it all back, John.
We should do the quirks one.
Oh,
I would love for people to write in and let us know their quirks.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I will be absolutely, without a doubt, red knuckling until they do.
Oh my goodness, going down a goat's trail with this one.
It's cold. It's cold. Absolutely cold.